Well, great to have you join me on TMI. It was a sad day yesterday at number 20 Gerrard Street at Ikoyi, Lagos State, where reports had it that a 21-story building collapsed. And collapsed in the rubble, we have the MD, the managing director of Foursquare Heights, who is the owner of the construction site, his engineers and his clients also trapped under the rubble. As such, now we have reports that about 10 persons have been rescued from the rubble. But we don't have reports if the MD, CEO of the Foursquare Heights Limited, the owner of the building, is among those rescued. Well, we have threads of conversations, like I did say. We're looking at the story building that collapsed, and also we'll look at the Anaba Guba polls that is coming up on Saturday. Look at the challenge where the IPOP group threatened that they're going to be shutting down the southeastern states, starting from the eve of the election in Anambra, which is on Friday. And that we dovetail to the 10th of November, which is supposed to be the day where the leader of IPOP will be in court to be retried. And the Nnamdi Kanu is being tried on an amended 7-count charge on treason and terrorism, along other charges. Well, discussing this, we will also have an issue on the 2023 polls, which is the political mandate for 2023, the third force relevance. You agree with me that a lot of people are feeling sick of the two major political parties that have been in the stream of politics, and they've been in the play of power in Nigeria. They've been managing the resources of Nigeria for some years now, and some citizens are saying that they never managed the resources the way it should be. So they seem to be looking out for hope inside. They seem to be looking at another force that will also help to galvanize and take away the country from the big pit that is kept in and put it in the right pedestal in a better destiny. But in the search for the third force, will that come in sight? We had the build-up to the 2019 general elections, where we had the likes of Ezekwesili, who later pulled out from the race. We had the likes of Durotoye and Moganu, and also Donald Duke, and even the debate that went on in the build-up of the 2019 general elections. A lot of Nigerians were asking, wow, can we ever get this fine kind of candidates that would be seemingly as the third force to contest with the two major political parties? All is in the dire need of getting Nigeria as a country on its feet again in the right pedestal. Well, discussing this with me, starting from my far end, actually the only guest I have on set with me, he is the Sword of Liberation Bible Church, and he is the senior pastor of that ministry, and he is an articulate public affairs analyst, Bishop Austin Igbasan. Thanks for joining me, Bishop.
Thank you for having me. Good morning, viewers.
Well, we'll start with the story building that collapsed in Ikoyi. Reports have it that 10 feared dead so far. What do you make of this development?
It's really a sad development, and I want to say I commiserate with the family, people that were affected. It's a shame to our nation. And this is also telling us failure of leadership, failure of our system, the failure of parastatals of government that are sent to man the affairs of our governance. Is a failure of governance, and that is so painful because it's avoidable. From report I gathered, I even heard that there was either a sanction or something from Lagos State Governor last year or thereabout. But what I'm trying to say here is that these things are avoidable. When there is a systemic failure in a nation, you have things like this happen from time to time. this is not the first house that is collapsing in all parts of Nigeria, not only limited to Lagos. But the question we ask ourselves is that whenever these things happen, what are the things that led to it? Now, after it has happened, what step do we take to forestall and make sure that such does not repeat itself? We are crying over this one now. In fact, I saw a taxi driver that was crying and said he had a client he wants to pick to the airport that's going to America. Now, so what happened to those families? Now, because these are avoidable deaths, but because we have a systemic failure, a failure that is in the country today, that it is about who sits at the position of leadership. It's not about the structure. The structure in Nigeria does not control us. It is men who sat down there that determines what happened. So this is it's not only about the building that collapsed. It's in all aspects of Nigeria governance that you see that whoever sits in the position of power determine how the system runs. Not that the system control or the system is able to checkmate. Let's take our mind back to America. If we look at the last election in America, the intention of Donald Trump, if it is a system like Nigeria, the man will control the system. But because it's a society where they have a system that controls whoever you are in position of leadership, you are bound to follow. In Nigeria here, we have an issue that happened in our own lifetime of a man who took number 4 in the election. Today is a governor of a state. Our children are in the university now studying law. By the time they grow up, that will be a reference point. Some young people today are going to become Supreme Court judge tomorrow. We have a situation where a Supreme Court judge, a most senior female jurist in Nigeria, the house is being invaded because of the intention of somebody in position of power. That shows you a systemic failure. You don't see something like this in other nations. I give you an example. If Donald Trump had power to control the Supreme Court of America, he will have his way. But because the system there checkmate whoever sits down, the founding fathers, they made up their mind that it is the system that will control. Even if you have a madman as a president, the system will checkmate his excesses.
Okay.
Whoever sit down will be governor. Look at our state governors today. All of them control their houses of assembly. All of them control the judiciary. No single governor today that allow any of these organs of government to run by themselves. Okay. Look at even when we say, okay, let it be controlled, they are going to be autonomous. You saw the team of governors, how they team up and they make sure it was just in the light of
okay, Bishop Austin, let's still focus. I understand your pain, your aggression over what we are faced with as a country. But let's look at what is before the managing director, who is Femi Oshibona. Reports have it that he's still been trapped under the rubble. Now, it was reported that he ignored the consultant's advice. It was supposed to be a 15-floor plan, but he rather took it up to 21-floor plan. Don't you think, again, this is making him liable for this collapse?
Now, you see, anybody on earth can decide to do anything. If there is no system in place, do you know that I can get up here from this studio and declare myself as the governor of Edo State? Is it because I don't want to be a governor? I want to serve my people, even beyond the pulpit. I want to serve them in such a way that they'll be so excited. Or you are sure that whatever the governor of this state is doing, am I excited with everything? No. Or other places. But what happened is that I can't get up here and say I want to be governor of Edo State. Governor Baseki, stand up there. I'm interested to sit down. Because why? It's not because I can't do it, but because there is a system in place that said you cannot just get up and go and do that. Okay. Because if you want to do that as a bishop, then you have to get out of the pulpit and go and contest an election. Be a candidate of a party. You can't wake up and say God has called me a governor. Now, because it's not because God cannot say, but a system here tells you that you have to belong to a political party, and after belonging to a political, go through a process of primary, do an election, you follow that one. Now, if there is a system in place to tell the man, and there's an advice to that effect, and we have a ministry that control that particular area of our governance.
Yes.
That this structure should be 15 floor. And the man decided to say he want to take it to 35 floor.
He would have been sanctioned.
After all, some people said they want to go and meet God in heaven. And they were building a skyscraper. But God has a policy. God used his own policy to scatter their project. And he scattered their tongue. Now that is policy of heaven. Now on earth here, there is a policy that we are governed by policy. What happened to those who are mandated to make sure that that building is not more than 15 floor? Beside the consultant, there is a ministry mandated, an organ of government mandated, wherein we have professionals who knew about what it takes and the structure of the place, the kind of structure you can put there, and what should be done, and how it should be done. Don't blame Femi. Anybody can get up here and say he wants to go and meet God in heaven. But how you are going to get there is the prayer point. Now, it's a systemic failure. The man can determine to put 35 story building there. But those who are mandated, are you getting what I'm saying? In my place, they said, if you allow a madman to bury his mother, he can turn it to suya or turn it to Bonley. But because he's a madman, there are people in the community, as soon as his mother died, they come around to help him do the burial. So you don't blame the man for aspiring for 25.
But again, let's also look at the lesson learned from this story, because it appears a situation where you ignored the plan, and then in the course of ignoring the plan, not knowing that you're going to be a victim of what you started. Now, probably he was holding a meeting with his clients, alongside the engineers with him in the construction site when this collapsed upon all of them. What do you think is a lesson for those who want to go against set plans in building?
The lesson will start from the government. I will not start from the masses, because beyond this Mr. Femi, there are plenty of Femis everywhere who will want to do their own intention. And my own is that even from those who are in position of governance, the leadership has failed us. And that is why if the governor is my friend now and I want to turn Ring Road to become 25-story building, I tell you, Philip, it will not be a prayer point. It's a matter of telephone call, and it's going on against the order of what is on ground, until we have a system that we control and checkmate people. It's not about, there are plenty, anybody can get up today and say he want to be VC of Unibe. Even a vulcanizer may want to be a VC without going to school. Have we not seen it in this country? We had Supreme Court come out and they told us that you don't need to have a certificate to become a president of Nigeria. But that is not the law. It's because a man in charge determines what happens there. Now, if it is a country where those juries who have been there for years, they want to do the bidding of what is on ground, they won't come out and tell us that you don't need to be, don't need to have a certificate to be a president of Nigeria. That means anybody can wake up. A gardener can wake up and become a president. But tomorrow, when a man who wants to build, who wants to go by systemic build-up, is in charge of position of power, you will not see such a thing. A man was a president in this country, and he knew the irregularities in the election of 2015. Even when people like Elder Gosde Orubebe were bringing points before Jega, and these are very, very vital points, germane points, mentioning about 6 states, and the man was ignored. And another one was coming from a position of interest and the deployment to Port Harcourt. Well, that man was raising germane issue. If it were other country, that election will not be declared. They will have to go and verify those states that God say Orubebe mentioned. Today, what Orubebe said, are we not seeing the result today? Have we not seen what started that day? The guy himself who thought he would benefit from the network, is he not a crying man today? But let us look at it. This is talking about going by structure. But because the man who is seated there is not an ambitious person. The man said before the election, nobody's blood is what? To be shed because of my ambition. And he relinquished power, even when he had the power to be able to sustain it. But you remember in 2019, when the sitting president was asked, if you lose this election, what will you do? He said, I will congratulate myself. Then you put that statement side by side with the statement of another man in 2014, and you'll be able to see where our nation has been today. because you see that our nation is being governed by whosoever is in charge, not by system.
Bishop Osigbasa, we are still on course on the Ikoyi story building that collapsed.
We cannot learn.
Let's look at the response team, because the Femi Oke again, who is the Director General of the Lagos State Emergency Management Agency, did say that they were activating a plan immediately after hearing about the collapsed building. Now, it took time even for emergency responders to come to site. It took time even when Ibrahim Fariloye, who is the Southwestern coordinator of NEMA, also said that they are getting emergency responders, but it took time. Now, what do you make of this staggered arrival of these emergency responders to site?
Everything goes back to structure and leadership. You are talking of Lagos. Now let's look at Edo State also. Okay. I want to tell you now how many firefighting equipment are readily available if there is a fire break anywhere. Are we not supposed to have an helicopter that can take off from anywhere and go and quench fire? These our leaders, they go to countries. Some of them tell us they are technocrats. They have been all over the world. But we begin to look at it that where is that technocrat ability or wisdom they have acquired? What are we seeing the effect on ground? Now, a place like Lagos ought to have at least 2 or 3 firefighting helicopter that can go to a place if there's a fire outbreak, and we're supposed to have a helicopter that can even take people or have a space where they can, if there's an emergency, BRT lane should be available for any of these people to get to the point where they need to make rescue. And also, if there are people that need to be readily available there, helicopters should be able to take some persons there while some vehicles are coming through an emergency lane to get, we should have boats and all these means of transportation to get to that place. We are not battle ready for emergency. And you know, like I always said, Nigeria is a child of a rich man that is a spoiled child. Now there are nations that have earthquake, tsunami, all kinds of natural disaster. But God has been so gracious to us. But our leaders have taken this love that God has for us for granted, to be able to stand in and plan out if there's emergency. Who and who? Then you talk of the people that want to rescue. How many of them have gone to foreign mission to be trained on how to rescue people?
Programs
you want to carry people to somewhere, people who don't even know how to rescue. Where were they trained last? Where were they trained? When were they trained? Where were they trained to be able to rescue? To be able to, somebody can get to a site of where something happened, and he's not technically trained on what to do. He will be going out to around about this thing. His presence is not making life to come back to rescue life. This rescuer, where were they trained? When last were they trained? Which country did they take them to? Where are the equipment to be able to rescue people on time?
That's another
not
challenge.
This one that masses are using cutlass and hoe. Nigeria, a plane collapsed, a plane crashed in Nigeria. People were using pure water because there was no rescue operation. You remember Ghana? People were bringing water from their house. Their church near where the plane collapsed, everybody was bringing water out as if they want to quench firewood. Yeah, is that not a shame? Look at the crash site, Iju to airport, wherein an helicopter can get up there with water and be able to quench that situation and rescue those who are crying. People were crying in that plane crash. They were knocking the window, asking people to help them before the explosion. That tells you that a country that is not prepared. And I want to say this, masses cannot affect this one.
Okay, but don't forget again that it's not really peculiar to Nigeria alone. We have countries, even developed polities, where we have such challenge and people are trapped in the rubble. So it's not peculiar to Nigeria alone.
But let me tell you that there are nations that before a house collapse, that such thing will not happen. It won't happen because they will enforce it. It's not about Mr. F is a friend of somebody in power. Mr. 24 is an in-law to somebody in power. It does not happen in those countries. When you are liable, you are liable. That building is stopped. Today we see that. We see it in our nation. Even when a sitting government gives CFO, another government comes tomorrow and withdraw. What are we talking about? It's talking of systemic failure. If a government have issued a seal of oath to an individual, they must have followed a due process before it is issued. Then there is no right for any government coming tomorrow to come and revoke it because due process have been followed. Now it shows that if a due process is not followed, then a new government coming on board may see a kind of defect in the system. It talks about the system. So what I think is that we just waste life here because there is no check and balance. And I think that some of our leaders, they felt that people are too many in their country. So the more they die, the more the population is reduced for them. Because if not, we will talk about all these things that we are putting in place. We are talking of unemployment. How many governors today have packed the unemployed youth and trained them on disaster management and sent them elsewhere to one country and train them and set up a ministry of disaster management where these people will be professional and they'll be trained on how to handle equipment they can use to rescue. Even when we have not had disaster, nobody wait for disaster to come before you prepare for it. There are nations today that have people trained to fight war, and for the past 20 years they have not had war, but they have equipment on ground. Not because they are praying for war. Being proactive. Proactive is the way. Plan ahead and be able to do this one. Okay, we are talking of jailbreak the other day. We are clapping hand. Oh, for the attempt the attempt of jailbreak. So. These are things that when you have intelligent gathering, all governors collect security vote. Governors supposed to have some set of people on ground who gather intelligence for them, who will be trained as a private investigator to be able to, and this will help our nation to live in peace.
Thank you, Bishop Austin. You've articulated a point in this direction. Well, I think lessons have been learned even by those who build and who set out plan, by those who finance this plan, by those who own these projects. We just hope that reports you also unfold where we see more persons rescued from that collapsed story building. Well, we'll leave that to look at the Anaba Guba polls that is coming forth this week, Saturday. The threat by the IPOP group, which has been proscribed and referred to as a terrorist group by the federal government, is also making things worse because we look at the need for elections to go peacefully without being in violence or being in tension. We have issues where the threat to lock down southeastern states will be starting from the 5th of November, which is the eve of the Anaba Guba polls, that is on Friday, and then it will dovetail to November 10. And the IPOP group, they are saying that they are doing this because they demand the unconditional release of their leader, Nnamdi Kanu, who is in incarceration. What do you make of this threat and the polls coming up in Anambra this Saturday?
Philip, indeed, I will say personally, my statement is my statement. It's not the statement of this establishment, nor you that you are interviewing me.
Do you want to say anything negative?
No, what I want to say is that I'm ashamed.
Okay.
I'm ashamed. I've been to different countries. I'm ashamed to be called, like, I'm not blaming God for making me a Nigerian. I'm excited. And that's why I will remain on the side of the masses, neither to support any government to oppress the masses. I will stand on the side of the masses to see that democracy is about the people. It's not about the leaders. And that is why you see it's not peculiar to our president, it's not peculiar to governor of Edo State or any governor in this country. But I want you to do the statistic of people in leadership today. You will see that they are autocratic people. Many of them are even worse than military leaders. Because when you see somebody who's a politician talk like gentle Christian during a campaign, and as soon as they are sworn in, they talk like an emperor, as if they threaten some obas. There are obas that cannot talk today in Nigeria because they point to them that look at the way Emir of Kano was shown how to go back to his home. Now, many of the obas kept quiet because they knew that even by the law, local government chairman control is bigger than first class oba. How do we arrive there? It's an autocratic setting. Now, what I say to you is that somebody is having eczema. The person has leprosy and is focusing on eczema. Now you know that eczema, out of eczema and leprosy, one is worse than the other. One has come to stay. The other one, in the name of cream and some other drugs, it will disappear. Now you are now living leprosy.
you are curing eczema. Now, if you look at the Anambra election, what Nigeria is using to bring arms, ammunition. I have children who are in security agencies that I pray for them when they are deployed to Anambra. They call me for prayer. Daddy, pray for me. I'm afraid to go.
Because
I have to pray for them because they also knew that this country is not a country you can serve. Because if you die today, your children will be removed from the barrack.
Well, you can't say that. You can't say that because that is only your own opinion. Because they are not yet to say if they are saying that it's not a country to say.
You want me to quote a name of a lieutenant colonel in the army?
You can't say that.
Now, you want me to mention a lieutenant colonel in the army who worked and finished 2,000 Boko Haram members in one day, and today that man has been compulsorily retired, and the Supreme Court judgment have been given for his reinstatement, and that man have not been reinstated today. A man that finished 2,000 and led and recover Koduga and many other communities, including Bosa. The man today, 3 judgments have come to reinstate him. He has not been reinstated. How do you, if that man have died, what is the country saying to that man who rescued and stopped the advancement of those people in entering Maiduguri?
Okay, but the purpose of this program, the purpose of this show is not to raise sentiments.
It's not sentiment.
It's to find a lasting solution to the problems we have faced. The solution is because the Anaba Guba polls is as sensitive as any polls. So the need to curb this threat is what we are looking at.
Philip, the question is that when you have a father who have plenty children, and is making one of them to know that you are better than the other, that whatever you do is not an issue. The other one, when if this one break plate, you go, it not matter. But this one, when spoon fall for his hand, the spoon that drop in his hand that is not broken, let us amputate his hand for it, because the spoon drop and touch ground. The one that breakable plate, oh, clap for him. That's the best thing to do. You can break more because you are a special child. Anambra election does not need. If I happen to be in position of leadership, I will not spend 1 million to bring peace to Anambra. All what you need to do, all the equipment we are sending, our officers we are sending to put their life at risk now. That many of them, when they die today, what happened to their wife? What happened to their children? These are needless war.
Okay.
Because what I'm saying is that.
So what should be done?
It is consultation. Democracy is about the people. Okay, the people are talking. Some people said they want to go. As the father of the house, you don't need to kill people that want to go. A wife says he's divorcing you. You say you must assassinate the wife because marriage is about consent. People said they want to go. Okay, the Bible said let us reason together.
But even at that, does it mean that you have the right to cause violence or to take arms in your hands?
Sir,
because that's another challenge you are faced with.
Sir, what the question
it's not just having an idea, sir, on that,
the question
but
is that
also using arms to, sir, establish a point.
I think those bandits, they are using chewing stick. It is chewing stick they are using all over the place. They are not using arm. People that wear army uniform and take picture with governor and hold AK-47 belonging to federal government that they collected from army that they have killed. And yet they took picture and we are excited. Many of them are even inducted into civil service and put into custom and all the rest of them. We are seeing it, and you are not saying, see, it's about the mindset of who is in charge. Have you asked yourself that when Jonathan was in power, did that one say they are going to stop election? Did they say they are going to stop election? Because they see a father inside their leader, a man that can say, okay, let us come and sit down. What is it? What is difficult in calling these people? They are not invisible. What is difficult in calling them? You people want to go, okay, let us come to Aso Rock. Your life is protected. We want to sit down and discuss. Let's put this thing on the table. At least before Nigeria was bet, it was on the table that a discussion took place. Independence, there was a table of discussion. If those colonial masters kill people like Antonio Enaoro and the rest of them who moved, and Nnamdi Azikiwe and the rest of them, are we going to have Nigeria? Why is it difficult now for the man in charge of leadership to say, come, let us sit down? You have said something, said some people voted 4%, you cannot give them development in totality. Do something different, call them, let us sit down. Now I ask you, look at the equipment, move to Anambra. Look at even our sponsor children that are growing from there. Seeing this kind of ammunition, do you know what has affected them psychologically? Do you know the build-up in the heart, the seed in the heart of these children? Many of them who are supposed to be a professor, Many of them are supposed to be a clergyman. We end up becoming a terrorist because of the environment they saw themselves.
Okay, if you look at the report, if you look at what is on the screen, the visuals about the attack by Joint Security Team in Anambra against some gunmen that were really causing violence in Anambra. And it was reported that about 5 were feared killed of the gunmen. Now, IPOB has said that those killed were bandits and they were not their members. And that politicians are using bandits to disrupt the Anaba Guba poll and not them. What do you make of this by IPOB?
The question again goes to systemic failure, because this country have DSS, they have NIA, we have secret police, people that are mandated to gather intelligence. If there is no systemic failure, it is not IPOB that will tell the government that these are not our members. The government, by all the security agencies that are up to how many, will be able to know, to unravel what is on ground. If you remember those days, there are police in those days who are teachers in the school. You will not know they are police. There are police those days who are in the motor park that work as driver. You will not know they are police. And what their job is to gather intelligence. Whatever is happening in motor park, they got it. The one that happened in that secondary school, they got it. And they have a cumulated record folder wherein you'll be able to access information about security in every place. So what I'm saying is that what IPOB people are saying, it's not far from truth. Because there are interest groups within the politician who believe that they have already named IPOB. Even from beginning, IPOB, to be able to proscribe them at that time was a wrong decision. If the same government that proscribed them today said bandits cannot be proscribed, people that are kidnapping cannot be proscribed. And the question I ask you is that these people that are carrying placard and they were being shot then, all of us are here, they carry placard and this is their interest. All of us saw them on their procession that they don't carry cutlass, they don't carry gun, but they go on peaceful protests. Now people on peaceful protests, you are shooting and killing them. At the end of the day, you have already caused aggression, because when you chase a sheep, as quiet as a sheep is to the wall, definitely you will know that God gave the sheep some little teeth that he can use to protect himself. So the government themselves have not done well. They have shown sentimentality.
Okay, but you can't say that, because even IPOB is not a faceless group. So making it face, having a face, shows that the federal government can act on that. Now we don't have a face from the bandits. We don't have a face from the bandits. Sir, before you want to take the
so
that's exactly why the federal government did that to IPOB.
Do you remember 200 women that were sent to jail until the civil society cried out in this same southeast that carry placard showing an interest that, oh, release our people, do that, and all the 200 women were sent to jail. They were ran into magistrate court and they were sent to jail until people started crying. And does this kind of thing that happened there happen elsewhere? We have seen something worse. People do video call, behead our soldier. They do all kinds of video call, and at the end of the day, you said they are repented. You took them back from behind and even put them in the army and put them on salary. In the same country, we as people carry placard and you are shooting at them and you are molesting them, and at the end of the day, you are not. How do you put it side by side? People that behead our soldiers and they take their self video and they post it, and they are not invisible. There's nobody in government today that will say they don't know where Boko Haram and all the other bandits, they are based. Even the locals know them. The leaders in that area know them.
Okay, so that makes them
treated in that way.
They are not faceless groups.
They are not.
The bandits are not faceless.
They are never faceless. They are faceless. That is why Gumi show have discussion with them and they took picture. Have you listened to Gumi this morning and said, give them amnesty? You must not declare the terrorist group, and the government obey. When government want to declare IPOB terrorist group, do they call the people in the east, the Ohanese Undigbo, or call their leaders? We have
few days to the election, and the ABGA candidate, who is former CBN governor Charles Soludo, is saying that there should be dialogue. Now, do you tinker to what the ABGA candidate is saying concerning dialogue between the federal government and IPOB?
It has to be. You see, sir, if you don't, in my place they said, a child that said his mother will not sleep. That child had to be ready for night vigil. So the government can never have rest.
Okay, but we have few days left. We have few days left.
Yeah, if you like,
we have barely 4 days.
If you like, sir, don't forget that people who were alive in the days of Ojukwu, they gave birth to some children that have that have that blood also of freedom inside of them. And I think that's why I told you, I said all the money we wasted, the taxpayer money. Look at the security agencies. They are going to be paying allowance. They are going to be given somewhere to sleep. Look at the equipment that were moved in. Now look at the money we have used to do that. That money we don't need. We just need 10% of that money to put them on a flight or ABC Transport Lozero bus and bring them to Abuja and let there be sincerity in the heart of leader that I want to dialogue with you.
But they're already proscribed. do you have a meeting with a proscribed group? Now again, their leader is already in detention, is being incarcerated. Yeah. And again, the demand they seem to be asking for, is it not too much? Because they are saying that they are demanding for an unconditional release of their leader from incarceration. If you put this juxtapose, is that not too much for the government to handle?
Sir, do you know how many Boko Haram leaders have been released? Do you know how many Boko Haram leaders were swapped? That was swapped? Do you know how many Boko Haram leaders who were bomb experts that have wasted and have turned our soldiers' wives to become widows and their children to become fatherless children that were brought back? Do you know how many of them are being civil service as we're talking now? Do you know how many of them have joined the army now? Just because they came from one particular side of Nigeria? Do you know how many of them we saw? Has custom come to deny the one we saw recently here, where a man that does not have the training of custom and excise was given a big position and he does not know even how to give salute? Has the custom come to defend that to us? Now, how do you put that one side by side on people that are somebody is clapping hand, you are shooting him, and somebody is cutting people's head, you are clapping for him? How do you defend that one? This is a needless fight. Even the kind we are talking about, going to bring him from other country, is a needless something. If there is no price that is too much for a sitting leader who knew that he needed peace to be able to bring peace. You want to tell me that IPOB are not aware of the numbers of Boko Haram leaders that have been released by this same government? Who said the Unadi Kanu is an almighty person. If we release him, Nigeria will come to an end. If they have done that, there are ways that this thing can be done. And you will see that this agitation will go down. But you see, you call dog a bad name so that you can label it. They are doing worse over there. How many they build bridge today, they bomb it. Okay, but don't forget, school today, they destroy it. Those people that are caught, sir, let me ask you a question.
But don't forget that if it goes on, if it goes on,
I want to ask you, how many Boko Haram leaders have been sent to jail? You are a journalist. How many of them that have wasted lives? Not only life, they waste our trained soldiers, trained police, waste them. You knew those Bayelsa guys who were flight lieutenants that were killed 8 days after their wedding. Now they are back now with us. Now, what is good for those people? It's not good for people else.
Okay, but don't forget that the government is fast-tracking developments in that direction. We may not have statistics now, but that is not to say that the government is not acting, is not on its toes to fight that.
The first thing is to dialogue. Even though in other countries where you have terrible people who are terrorists, when you see that the thing is taking so much life, and your government is about life. Okay. You call them. What stop us of even calling this Kanu to sit down?
Okay, but are you also thinking in this direction that if the government goes in this direction of dialoguing at this point, a group that has already been proscribed, and now their leader is already in court, is taking judicial process, will it not be counted as weakness on the part of the government? And again, will it not be a tool that will encourage other groups to rise? Some believe that the way the government is going, will serve as deterrent to others. Again, we have over 34,000 personnel being deployed in Anambra election. And won't that be able to quell the issue concerning the threats by IPOB over the Anaba Guba polls?
The question is that, what politicians, when they want to fulfill their mindset, they will come with sentiment by telling you that if we do this, it will show us that we are a weak government. And I give you an example of Jonathan, who signed Electoral Law Act and signed it few hours to his own this thing, not even minding leaving office. I also give you an example of a man who relinquished power, and it was counted as weakness. We count it as weakness that time. But do you know that what Jonathan did then saved many people that would have been a widow today?
But that's a different case.
No, I'm just telling you,
that's in conducting polls, in conducting elections. Sir, that's a different case.
Do you know
we are talking about a terrorist group. We are talking about a group that has been proscribed. We are talking about a group that have killed a lot of persons. We have scores that have been killed. Yes, of course.
Because you have the ID card on their chest when they were killing people. But of the people we heard who are saying this thing that happened yesterday, we did it. This one that happened last week, we did it. We did not call those people terrorists. Those who claim responsibility for something, even some group who were not terrorists, but all their operation, the group that make a state ungovernable for the state governors, who said because of so law, you will never have peace here, I will make sure, and they are doing it. How many of them have been proscribed as a terrorist group? Or you want to tell me that those groups are faceless also? People that claim responsibility and tell a sitting governor after House of Assembly has passed a law, and they say it will never see the light of the day, and you will never have peace.
Okay.
And they were not proscribed.
Okay.
Now, to proscribe them in the first place is a wrong decision, and it is born out of sentiment. I start to say that, why is it that the government of yesterday did not proscribe them? Because everything that had to go with governance, go with dialogue. You have to dialogue with them. Now, look at it. My own concern is to Igbo people. That, look, the way they are wasting your people, they didn't bombard like that in the north. Even where people who are collecting army uniform and army ammunition, collecting army truck. So that some few persons in Igbo who decided to mortgage their people because of position, because of interest.
All right.
I think that the entire masses, Igbo masses, should sit down and look at it that let us dialogue. If I'm in position, I will not even be part of it for them to say there should be no election. Because to me, that is not a right way of bringing the government to do whatever they wanted to do.
Okay.
I think that it is out of frustration, and that is why that one is coming up. Because to me, I don't support that. It's a democratic process. Allow election to go. Don't allow your own children to be wasted.
Okay.
You suffer casualty.
INEC is saying that they are getting ready to conduct the polls. And what's your appeal in terms of the process to go free and fair?
INEC is a wonderful organization that they have their act, but even within the act, whatever they want to do in their mind is what they do. Even when it is written in their act, I can go back. If you want me to mention it, I start from Kogi election, the first Kogi election. Now, but whatever they have in mind is what they want, except when you get to a place where you see that the people are on ground. That is where you see things are being done properly. Like I don't state here, during our election, everybody is on ground. Even to be able to do Arumaje or Orimoko is not possible because the people were on ground. People are not sitting at home to say we are not going to vote. And everybody come with their camera in Edo State here. We mobilize people to go to the polling booth. I said a lot of pastors who go with their camera, carry their member. Nobody is sitting at home now. Our government is not in heaven. It's here. Go and vote. Don't sit at home. Don't use the environmental sanitation. Don't watch Z-Word. Don't watch African Magic, so that your life will not be magically twisted by anybody that take position.
Okay, but do you think the deployment of this huge number of security personnel will discourage voter apathy in Anambra?
Definitely, a lot of people are not going to come out because they know that the country they want to vote for might not be able to defend their life if they come. So you look at it.
Even with the show of force?
Well, sir.
Even with the huge number of security personnel deployed?
Do you know that as far as this matter is concerned, there are people that are ready to die? Have you not asked yourself a question that with the killing that have been going on IPOB or the youth, as this agitation come down, that tells you that the show of force over this matter will not give us any laudable result. But it is going to make the mortuary to be filled up. It's going to make the cemetery to have a lot of fertilizer.
Which we don't pray for.
My own desire is that the people that are agitating should allow this election to hold.
All right, thank you. In case you're just watching us this morning on ITV, and we're looking at the Anaba Guba poll 2021, which really is coming forth on Saturday, 6th of November. And I've been discussing with Bishop Austin Igbasan, who is the senior pastor of Sword of Liberation Bible Church. At this point, we'll look at the other thread of topic, which is on the issue concerning the third force relevance. You agree with me that a lot of citizens of this country are growing tired of the two major political parties. Some are saying, well, there should be a third force that would help to galvanize Nigeria from the pit or doldrum that they perceive is into. Some say, well, the issue about the build-up to the 2019 election, where we had Ezekwesili, who later pulled out though, Mogalo and Dorodoye and Donald Duke, fine, distinguished candidates, which would have formed a very formidable third force that would contest with the political parties, the major political parties in Nigeria. But again, though that party or those parties were overwhelmed by the two major political parties. Now we're looking at the political mandate for 2023, Bishop Austin Igbasa. The way we are going now in Nigeria, the challenge of political parties, the major political parties not being able, as perceived by many, not being able to salvage the country from the doldrums. Do you think we need a third force to kind of take Nigeria away from the pit, perceived by some that Nigeria is into?
In the research, I don't believe in the third force. My reason is this. My reason is this. I'm going to talk about the third force, but I don't personally believe in the third force. Okay. My reason is that all the people that are fine, intelligent Nigerians that want to be of the third force, they always come when election, the eve of election, they come and make some English all around. At the end of the day, when the election is over, you see that everybody run into the, just like when tortoise enter into his family house, and that's the end. Now when we are smelling another election, you want to be a third force, you start from after declaration of, after 2019 election, the journey of having a third force supposed to begin from there. All the people you mentioned, they are fantastic Nigerians, but Nigeria is not ruled by English. It's not ruled by English. And Nigeria is not ruled by being a quality person. We have never had it like that. So for you to say, oh, by the virtue of being a quality person, you are going to be in position of leadership. People have seen your English.
Okay, what you are saying again, sorry for cutting in, what you are saying now is that our political parties are not in the process of kind of prioritizing knowledge, competence, you know, and character.
No, they don't.
In ensuring that leaders of such are in power. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, because number one, money bags control our party.
But isn't that a setback? Shouldn't we be retracing way back to having character, having knowledge and competence leaders in power?
That is a right way to go. But the people that want to do that must be ready. It's not something you do on Watch Night Day, Watch Night or Christmas Eve, Christmas carol. You just come and you carol it and you are established on the 25th. It's not done. Because I've seen all these people you have mentioned. When they speak a lot of English, a lot of economic statistics, a lot of visions, at the end of the day, when the election is over, how many of you have you seen from town meeting, from one local government to another? To move from one place, because before you build a third force, if you want to build the third force we are talking about, you will end up in need of some major money bags and some popular names in this country who will sit at their home and will now bankroll what the process you are going to have.
Because that's the nature in which politics is being run in Nigeria.
Now, so if this guy you mentioned, fantastic young people with a vibrant brain, they've been a blessing to the nation and other nations, if they can come together, and one of the best way to do it is that it's already too late now. I don't believe, because number one, you want to have a third force.
You mean it's already too late for the 2023 general election?
Except they want to use any of the mushroom party that have been in existence, and they'll come in there to boost it. And some people who will run out of APC and PDP will also come and join them there. Don't forget that when they come and join them, it is going to be the reproach of Egypt that they will bring to come and meet them in this new Jerusalem they want to form. So you can never rule it out that people will come from PDP and come from APC who will also have money, who are disgruntled members. Maybe their ambition, they were not able to fulfill their ambition there. They see a new boat that is on board. They will come with their mindset. They are not concerned about ideology.
But if it is, exactly where I'm going, if it's coming up with ideology, you know, they ensure that the new party or the third force comes with ideology, that would tend to separate those who are coming from the major political parties.
The issue is that, Philip, this matter is already late. You are talking of 2023. this is 2021, and we already know that the stage is already set. You can see that the alignment, realignment, people are going to leave PDP, people are going to cross party from one party to another now. Now, these people, they didn't take the journey on time. And I'm not too sure that all these names you mentioned, they have the financial muscle to be able to do it, because I think the first thing that will have excited Nigerians is the interest that they don't just. I have a pastor who said he wants to become governor of Edo State here. He contested with Oshomole at the first time. He contested with Oshomole the second time. He contested with Obaseki the first time. And the other time he was telling me, sir, I'm going to come again. Then I told him, I said, you want to be a governor of Edo State? I said, me, I'm a bishop. I have a lot of pastors' widow on my payroll. I have a lot of orphans on my payroll. That even it is the work of government to take care of those widows. I said, I take care of them. I'm not on payroll of government. I said, I have programs that I do for people who have just entered university. I have programs I do for people who are going to learn work. I have people. I talk to people to give car to some people who will drive and pay balance and carry, so that they will not become a nuisance to the society. I said, this is a work of government. I said, because the government has failed, people like us came on board. I now told him, I said, you wake up, you don't even, apart from the office, the market women know you in Edo State. So it is not about coming to do poster when it is election. During the election, people will see you on ground that you love Edo, not that you stay somewhere far outside the country and you control here. So the takeoff of third force, except it's going to end up as PDP or APC, wherein people will come out of their disgruntled, they come back, they bring money together, because the work they needed to do now is a work of money. It's not work of town hall meeting.
From your first response when I asked you the question concerning the third force relevance, you did say that you don't believe in it. And does that suggest that Nigerians should prefer the devil they know than the angel they don't know?
My own counsel is that if I'm to speak my mind, I will have said, you have tried one, you didn't like that one, you try another husband. Now, among the two. Now you have tried another husband. With the first husband you don't like, bag of rice 7.5. The second husband is 30,000, the one I bought for some person some days ago.
But the two parties have been in governance at one time or the other, and they seem not to encourage Nigerians.
My wife told me of that.
So what you are saying is already late, because they've already tried the two parties.
What I'm saying is, it's not too late, because the third force we are talking, Philip, no third force can be able to rule except those who are angry in PDP and APC come to join them with the financial muscle.
Seriously?
Now, somebody like Governor Obaseki now, he's a sitting governor, he has a security vote. You want to come and approach him from outside. You have a cold room where you are selling turkey. You want to come and approach a man who is in charge of power. So their takeoff is late.
How do we change the narrative? Because what you just said now, a huge lot of what you are saying is that we have money bags in politics that seem to determine the direction. How do we change that narrative? Because it's not auguring well for us.
No. We are not happy with that. If you remember, as soon as they were campaigning for 2019, I did say it in this same station that these young men who want to be president of Nigeria, so they should come together and submit their interest to one another. Some of them are supposed to be local government chairman. Let them come together. Let it not be that Mr. F want to be president, Sister 13 want to be president. So for them to be coming out like that, there is no synergy. For them to be able to have the third force, all these names you mentioned, all these names, I don't want to repeat those names, but the names you mentioned, they must all key their interest and draw one person. If it is Mogalu they want to bring, he say, okay, all of us, we submit our ambition to be behind you. And this election of 2019 that we lost, let us spread ourselves across Nigeria. Now you hold this geopolitical zone. Have a team of people that move from one town hall meeting from one state to another. We have lost the election now because we are not that popular and we don't have the money. Now let us begin to sell our idea. We are already having one man who will lead us. All of us may decide to become, he may put us in his cabinet. And you remember that I also said it then, that as President Buhari won this second term, all these young, vibrant people you mentioned, that he should go outside his party and set them up as a think tank group. Even though if he didn't make them ministers, set them up and say, I know you are my children. you have what it takes to rule this country more than me. I'm an old man, but whatever counsel comes from you,
that will improve the economy of the country.
I will be having meeting with you. You are not subject to Federal Executive Council. That was my counsel here on this same station, that you are not going to be Federal Executive Council, but I will make sure you are comfortable. You will sit down and discuss with me, go on different, because I said it then. One of them said he's going to change our electoral system. The other one said economy. I said the president should put them in this area of their specialization. Somebody like Kingston Moghalu is an ex-vice governor of CBN. So tell that man to help you mold your economy. Let it be a think tank. Ekwesili was in World Bank before. So Wura is a leader of whatever. Then this other Feladro Toye, that one is also a fantastic man in planning. I said the president should set them up, not looking at them as opposition. They are students. Let them begin to advise him, that, and he will tell them that whatever you test me, and I've gone through it on Perusi, I will put it before the Federal Executive Council. It's not going to be debatable. Because I know that you people are strategic technocrats.
Thank you. Again, some have said that the way forward shouldn't be the third force relevance because of the financial muzzle that comes with our kind of politics in the country. They say that, well, the way forward should be position in the Constitution not to produce strong men. Rather, should position the Constitution that will be fair to all, that will bring about a good system. Is that also what you concur with?
That one will also be a difficult task, because the people that you want to use their hand to do that constitution, they know that the constitution, the space in the constitution, which is the lacunas, is to their benefit. They will not join you to come and look at electoral act now.
They had to come out of it.
The National Assembly, you saw that they put some little clause of some small English that will make INEC to be able to transmit the result electronically somewhere if they have issue. Now, if the same INEC, the same people we are talking about, 2 days to election or 24 hours to election, they will help you to pull down some technological equipment or some of these communication company, that election day you will not be able to do it. They will not do that manual.
Are you saying it to be manipulated?
It has it not been done?
Are you not being presumptive?
No, in a state before election, fire enter where they put card reader, and the whole card reader got burnt. Now, he didn't enter with the security man house. He did not enter where they put fire. It enter. You remember there was a time before 2019 election that almost 7 states had their card reader burnt down in INEC. Is it Jesus that went to put Holy Ghost fire? Now I go enter where card reader is. You must know that there are people within that system who have been paid by politicians to make sure that this lacuna that is there, we meet in court, but let us make use of this lacuna. We will say the system is not working. If it doesn't work, the option is that you use your mind. So before we do that, I think that the best way they can do, these good guys, let them go and enter these two political parties. Enter as a quiet person, get their trust. And to me, some of them who said they want to be president, let them go and start as a governor, let them go and start as a senator, let them start from something small. Nigeria is a complex country that you just come tomorrow and say we can see president. It's difficult, and it is something that had to be strategically planned. They must convince Nigerians that they are not just political calendar politicians. That when there's political calendar, they come out after they have lost, they go back into their camp. That's how they're going to do it till they have their gray hair, because they should have a strategic plan on what to do. I advise them that I said they should even go and hold local government election with their mushroom party. Let them have councillor. Let them be able to secure, if it is 1 chairman or 3 councillors, let them have recognition first. How many of these people we are talking about now have a base in their hometown? That they have a functional office where they have about 5 staff. That if you can go there now to ask questions about Mr. F, who want to be president 2014, 2019, and he want to do it 2023, where is his functional office? You'll be surprised that you will not have an office in their own base where they can say, is our son here, is our daughter here, that is his office. For every month we gather here to hold meeting because of we believe in the interest that this person is pursuing. So they don't do that. The only thing you do from top is grave. Everything on earth, you start from the down. Skyscraper start from the down.
Okay.
So you cannot start.
Let's look at
apart from Donald Trump now.
Okay.
Donald Duke. Who
Donald
has been
Duke,
governor,
yes.
governor for 8 years. All the names you have mentioned now, they have never been local government councillor. So if they put Donald Trump, say, okay, you have been in governance, you were outside and you are inside, you know, a lot of people are talking from outside. When they enter into that office, they see themselves as a total stranger, because Nigeria does not have institute where politicians are trained.
Okay, as we wrap up, let me ask you the last question. Looking at the need for reforms in our political parties, it's a common knowledge that our political parties lack political ideology, even economic ideology. Now, what's the way forward? Because we just had the conventions of the PDP, for instance, and we also have that challenge where some, even within political parties, not restricted to one party, some within political parties seem to be greedy and seem to plot evil schemes to stop character, to stop knowledge, to stop competence from taking over party structures. Now, what's your appeal in this direction? Because we need political ideologies in parties, and we seem not to be having that.
I think that we got it wrong, because other nations have institutes where politicians are trained on the act of governance. Because politics is different from governance. And you see that when politicians get to government, many of them are trained to governance, and they carry their political mindset and inject it into governance. And by that, that's why you see somebody now, maybe a governor that does not have a political calendar that favor him, now want to hijack a party and be the all in all in the party. Because definitely you know that the calendar of the election calendar does not favor you to come on board. Now there are people that the election favor, that the calendar favor any governor to become anything.
I don't get it. I'm lost.
Okay, okay. You know, there is a political calendar.
Okay.
Now there are governors that their tenure end by 2023. Okay. They have opportunity to contest to either be a senator. Okay. Are you getting it now? But governors that the calendar does not favor. Okay. Now you cannot be a sitting governor and you contest for a senatorial position and relinquish your seat to go and be a senator. It's not possible. It's not possible. So if you fall into that category of people that are disadvantaged by political calendar, then that one should appeal to your conscience to know that you have come to serve for the last time.
Oh, of course,
if you're a second-time governor, you have come to serve for the last time. And whatever you do in this second tenure of your service will be the last. It will be your integrity test in the heart of men.
And the legacy you believe behind.
Legacy you leave behind. And it might either close door for your political party or for another election, or that is your action, because you are not favored by the calendar. By the time you round up your own calendar, your action will cause disadvantage or advantage to your own political party. And at the end of the day, if you are disadvantaged by the political calendar, you must do everything to make sure you stabilize your party, you don't create crisis in your party, you appreciate your party, that at the end of the day, when you come out of the calendar network, you will still be relevant. And by the virtue of what you have done, anything that comes up, you can still be carried along by the virtue of the calendar. What do you want to do when the calendar does not favor you? You want to destroy the boat that brought you to the shore because it does not favor you? You must do something that will keep your name and also keep your party relevance, that by the time you are leaving, because if you don't do well, if you think you can plant your stooge when you are going because you have a disadvantaged calendar, it will boomerang.
Thank you very much, Bishop Austin Igbasan, for taking our time to be part of the show. It's been exciting, it's been thrilling, intriguing also, having Bishop Austin Igbasan, who is the Sword of Liberation Bible Church senior pastor, with me on the threads of discussions we just had. Well, I've been your host, Philip Anaba Guba. It's still this morning on ITV. Do stay tuned.